As the migrant caravan gets closer to the border, President Trump is pledging to keep those seeking asylum in ever-growing tent cities along the border until a judge can consider their asylum request.
He calls it a no more release policy. But tonight, our border reporter Oscar Margain visited a shelter in McAllen where ICE agents release hundreds of immigrant families every day.
This might not be a migrant caravan per se, but it is a constant stream of migrant families that are not only coming to the border seeking asylum, but as you see here, walking to the McAllen bus station after being released.
But we're not releasing anymore.
It is what the president dubs catch and release, a common practice allowing immigrant adults to reunite with family across the U.S. while wearing government-issued ankle monitors with a promise they'll show up to immigration court hearings. It's a practice that the president has declared a few times to have ended since taking office.
They're going to stay with us until the deportation hearing or the asylum hearing takes place.
By holding families in tent cities during the asylum process. However, undocumented families are still filling up the McAllen Catholic Respite Center. Lately, an average of 400 people a day. Sister Norma Pimentel, who runs this shelter, prefers it that way, as opposed to housing them in what she believes are costly tent cities.
In camps, prison camps. And so these families are not a threat. They're actually trying to ask for help.
Once they're released by ICE, immigrants are brought to the shelter where they're fed, clothed, and have a chance to shower and make phone calls. It is also where volunteers help them arrange their travel to other corners of the country. This 31-year-old Salvadorian fled with her 5-year-old daughter after constant extortion by gangs, she said. She's grateful she got to spend a night at the shelter rather than another one in detention. She has to show up in court in the next few weeks.
And then they never show up. Almost. It's like a level of 3%. They never show up for the trial.
According to the latest Justice Department figures for fiscal year 2018, 3/4 of immigrants with orders to appear in court did show. President Trump intends to roll out a new plan this week to curb undocumented immigration through what he called a comprehensive executive order. In McAllen on the Texas-Mexico border, Oscar Margain reporting.